Good morning, everybody, and welcome to Mike's Minute for Week 16, Tuesday morning here, and we're another crazy week in the NFL. A lot of playoff positions being solidified, and Mike, what can I tell you? It was a good week of football, actually. It wasn't bad. I did.
No, absolutely. The first game, Rams versus the
Oh,
Seahawks,
okay.
was an outstanding game, and right down to the last minute, and right into overtime, and so close, and a few people picked on the wrong side of that decision, but not by much. I think the worst was about a 7 point for the Rams, and so you're taking in 8 points, but. Yeah, but there were some other games like the Titans kicking the Chiefs' ass.
Who would
I,
have thought?
I'm like,
Well,
oh,
I kind of predicted that
Hmm.
that one, but the just getting back to the Rams game,
yeah,
um, that should have never gone to overtime.
Hmm.
yeah,
It was a fluke play on the 2 point
yeah.
conversion. The
Oh,
guy had a backward pass. I don't know if you saw the play. Backward
No,
it was funny.
to the end zone. This Seattle
Yeah,
player just picked it up, to
yeah.
get back
He
in the
walked in casually, like as if, oh, I'm just going to pick the ball up and walk in, and they got their 2 points. But
anyway.
the
there
one
you go.
thing,
The NFL.
It was
the
the
one
right
thing I
call.
noticed was the coach of the Seahawks was very calm throughout the whole game, but
Yeah.
the other coach, he was screaming and yelling and all this sort of stuff. So I don't know if that had anything to do with the outcome of the game, but I was glad to see the Seahawks win.
Well, it was a good win for them, and certainly it solidified. It's tough to play in
Yes.
Seattle. Everybody knows that, and nobody wants to go there to play, especially a playoff game. So
No,
that
no,
that was a
no.
big win for them.
Yeah,
Good fans.
absolutely. Yeah,
So have
it's
we got some results for this week?
we do indeed, and the in the weekly part, Stephen Lawless at 113.
Wow,
Ooh, good.
Denny LeBlanc at 117.
wow.
Stuart McMahon at 128. Ryan Valley at 136.
Well
So those
done.
were the top four, and close behind, Marcus Enzo was at a 137.
Well,
So
Marcus
yeah,
Wow.
had a kicker last
there's some guys that are making some great picks out there, and going right up in the overall standings. By 1 point, that lucky guy Mike Russell at 2,224, and then right behind him is Jerry Boulay at 2,225. In third place, Charles Funk, 2245, and then in fourth place, Richard Pomelo at 2246. So yeah, it was a good weekend for a lot of people, and we're getting down to the home stretch. So that's when some people tighten up their scores type thing, and hoping to coast through, and then others are going, okay, well, I'm going to make a mad dash for it. So it's always fun the last 2 weeks.
Okay, so this week is a very unusual week. It's Christmas on Thursday, 3 games Thursday, 2 games Saturday, pile of games on Sunday, and then there's 1 game Monday. So we'll go over when you have to get your picks in. But
Yeah.
Karen, I've given her a list of games here to predict, and we'll go over those with you and with Karen and Mike. And let's just get them on the screen here first of all.
Okay.
Um, there we go. So, the first game I think I had was Karen. What game was that
Oh,
now?
the Lions, excuse me, the Lions versus the Vikings.
Yeah, Lions Vikings. And the reason why I picked that, it has a big implications for Detroit
Mm,
and Minnesota. I guess I don't know if they're still in the
no,
playoff hunt, but
No,
no,
yeah,
no.
the Vikings are out.
Yeah.
Vikings are out. But it
Yeah.
does have and Detroit's really on a slide right now. Minnesota, they're playing in Minnesota indoors. Um, who you got for that one, Karen?
Well, from what I can see, the Lions need to win both their next games to make any kind of chance of making the playoffs, and the Vikings have zero chance of making the playoffs. So they're playing in Detroit, which is a plus for them. I don't know what quarterback is playing for the Vikings. I think it's Max Bosmer. So I love St. Brown. I love Gibbs. I'm
Actually,
definitely
Karen, I just
going.
want to interrupt you there. They're playing in Minnesota.
Oh, they are playing in Minnesota. Okay, I don't think it really matters, to be honest.
Okay.
But I think I'm going to go with the Lions with about a 4 or 5.
Okay. So the line is 6 right now. What do you got, Mike, for that game?
Well, yeah, and I appreciate where they're going with the picks and the spread and everything, but that's a black and blue division. And the
Oh,
Vikings are out, and they would love nothing more than to drag the Lions
yeah,
down into their pit. And so I'm going to go with the Vikings by 3 on that one. So
they're going to be the spoilers.
well, it's in Minnesota, and it's a
Yeah.
covered stadium. It's going to be a noisy stadium with everybody there. So I think that turns the tide. So
Oh.
One interesting thing about these 3 games on Thursday, 2 of them are on Netflix, and one is on Prime
Ah,
Video. And the Prime Video one, which is normally what they have the Thursday night game, would have been a barn burner, except that Kansas City is just terrible right now. I think they lost Gardner Minshew, their second quarterback. So it's Denver,
oh,
Kansas City. I don't think too many people are going to watch that one. Given the blowout it's
crazy
going to
stuff.
be. They got Denver by 13 right now, and it probably Denver by 20 would be a more accurate. It is being played in Kansas City, so you never know. You never know.
yeah.
We got the Texans and the Chargers, Karen, on
Well,
network.
what I'm going to say is, yeah, go ahead.
4:30 Saturday.
Okay. So what I'm going to say is both these teams defensively are very good. It's going to be about the offense here. And CJ Stroud is good, but he's not great. And I think Hubert is better. Hubert, as they say in the US. So I'm going with the Chargers by about 3.
Yeah, I think that's a fair pick. Mike, what do you think?
Yeah, that's going to be a great game and a very close game because the Texans have a very strong. I think they're number one in terms of defense. So that's maybe balances a bit out, but I think it's going to come down to about 2 or 3 points, and I would go probably with the Chargers just simply because they're at home. But
Yeah.
Yeah.
it could go either way. So
Yeah, it's going to be a toss up. That's true. When the line is 2.5 for the Chargers, you always give 3 points to the home team. So you
yeah,
can tell that the odds makers are saying, "Gosh, we don't know either." So they're doing the same thing you are. I got the Ravens versus
Mm.
Green Bay next game. I don't know. I think Baltimore's still in the hunt. They could still make it.
the Ravens, yeah, they're on the bubble
They're on the
according to
bubble.
the yeah, and
They need
they're
some
playing
help.
the Packers, and the Packers are in the hunt.
There.
So
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. So it's you know it's they got Green Bay by 3. Karen, who have you got for this one?
Well, Lamar Jackson and Derrick Henry sort of left the last game pretty early, and I think Lamar's got a bruised back, but I'm not sure if he's playing. And if not, he's got this Melnick Willis guy backing him up. Jordan Love had a concussion, so I'm not sure if he's playing. But I think when it comes down to this game, he will be playing. For sure, because his backups aren't that great. This Clayton Tune for the Packers, I don't think he could make a pass if he had to. So, but my heart wants to go for the Ravens, but I'm thinking they're playing, in Green Bay, so I'm sort of leaning towards the Packers to win by 2 or 3.
So
I'd like to see the Ravens win, though.
any word on whether have you heard anything on whether Lamar Jackson's back and or Derrick Henry for that game? Because that makes a huge difference.
It it
yeah.
certainly does.
And
I
Love
haven't heard
has a
anything.
clear concussion protocol. They just can't put him back in the lineup. It's
That's
the whole process he's got to go through.
correct. Yeah. So, I mean, I guess you may want to wait before you
Yeah,
put your
yeah.
spread in on that one.
Well, yeah, that'll be up to Mike to see how long he's going to let you wait on that one. Mike, what have you got on that one? Okay.
Oh, on that one, yeah, I'm going with the Packers. They have more chance. They have more desire. It's at home. It's out in the cold. And not that the Ravens don't play in the cold, but I think the Packers have the edge in this. Again, I think it's a close game, depending on Henry and Lamar as well too, because the Ravens just seem to be on a downward descend, this year, and I'm not sure that they can turn it around. Whereas the Packers really have a good chance at doing well. So I would take the Packers by 3 or 4. That being said, picks have to be in before that first kickoff on Christmas Day.
Yeah. I actually, for Green Bay, Malik Willis didn't play bad. He looked like Tom Brady at times up there. So
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
think Green Bay is hampered as much as Baltimore. If Jackson doesn't play, I think Green Bay will survive this. I agree with you. I think at least
Yeah.
3 on that
And
one.
and I'll just one correction, John, for that game, because it's on a Saturday. You need to have your picks in by the before the first kickoff on Saturday for the
Okay,
Saturday.
you're okay. So you can wait to at least that time before you make a decision on that one, because there will be. Well, you'll probably know on Friday whether Lamar Jackson's playing, and because they have
Yeah,
to put it in the injury report. So
right,
uh,
exactly.
okay, this was going to be a good game, but I'll comment on it anyway. But I don't think it's going to be a great game now. Jacksonville, who's on fire right now, versus Indianapolis. Actually, I got to give Philip Rivers credit. I mean, the guy's 44. He can't throw very well, but he still gets the ball to the receivers. Um, you know, it was it was a tough game for him last night because they were in it until they weren't. That just took over. Karen, who do you
Yeah,
got? Who you got to this?
Well, John, I love Trevor Lawrence. I like the Jacksonville Jaguars, and I'm not too sure about Rivers playing for the Colts.
Yeah.
But, if you look at the lineup with, Myers and this guy named Tootin, never really heard much about him, and Etienne, beautiful, beautiful players. I'm going to go with the Jaguars just because they have so much depth offensively by about 7, maybe even 8,
Okay.
maybe even more the way they're playing.
Mike, who have you got in that one?
yeah, that's an interesting game, and yeah, the Jags, they're going to be in and they're playing well, so I think they're going to be extremely strong. Philip Rivers, I thought Troy Aikman, made some very good points on him last night. There's a guy, he's been out of it for 5 years, and they talked him back in because they needed him. There's a lot of downside to him coming back in his career and his legendary status, as opposed to playing. But that first game he played, obviously not in sync with himself, but did well. Second, last night he did extremely well. Again, the 49ers blew him out, but he's coming along, and so I think it's going to be a good game. But definitely, I would see the Jags by a minimum 7 points to win on that one, probably 10.
Yeah, his arm looked a little better yesterday, almost getting a little stronger.
Yeah,
Uh, I mean, the first game he was floating the balls up there. It was like
yeah,
watching Tua play. And this last game, it was a bit more zip on the ball, but you
yeah.
score. You know.
And he had a week of practice with the team, whereas the
Yeah,
week before it was like, okay, I'm here. Where do I throw my luggage? And oh, we're
yeah,
going out right now. So
exactly.
so he's going to get better, but there's a limit to a 44-year-old QB.
Okay, we go back to Seattle and Carolina now. This is a very important game for Seattle and Carolina. Seattle would love to win out to get first seed overall. Carolina would love to win out to knock Tampa Bay out of contention because that division, the division winner, is going to go on to the playoffs and no one else. There's no wild card in that division. They're currently ahead by 1 game. But Carolina's got to play Seattle, and then they got to play Tampa Bay again. So if they lose both, they're out. Seattle, they win both, they're in. Going to be an important game. Karen, who have you got? They're playing in Carolina, and Seattle's favored by 8.
Yeah. Well, John, my heart goes towards the Panthers because I love Bryce Young. He's an amazing quarterback from Alabama, as you know. However, the Seahawks are very good on the road, from what I can see. And after watching the game against the Rams, I'm going to tell you, they came back in the fourth quarter. It was absolutely amazing. So I'm going to go with the Seahawks by maybe, 4 or 5. But my heart goes for the Panthers because I think they're an upcoming team, and I think after this year they're going to be a team to watch.
Okay. What do you got, Mike?
Well, yeah, that's an interesting game because you've got three teams, the Rams, 49ers, and the Seahawks, and they're all very close. The Seahawks have that edge, because they've got 12 wins and the others only have 11 each. So they really can't let up off the gas at all. They've got to really push hard and win this one. So I would take the Seahawks probably by 7 on that one.
Yeah, I think that's a fair guess. Uh, but Carolina, I think they're gaining a lot of confidence. So, we'll see what they got.
Yeah,
First,
absolutely. Yeah.
because even if they make the playoffs, I mean, if they win this game, they could do some damage in the playoffs. If they get blown out here, then it doesn't matter who from that division's going on. They're going to get blown out. They're just not in the same league as the rest of the team. So it'll be an interesting game to watch. But I agree. I think Seattle's going to take that one. We have a good game. The failing Philadelphia Eagles in Buffalo. Buffalo's only favored by 1.5. Philadelphia is just not playing well. Maybe they are. I don't know. Well, they played well last week. Saquon did really well. Karen, who have you got there?
Well, both teams should be making the playoffs here, I would expect. They're playing in Buffalo. Now, I know Josh Allen hurt his ankle or his foot or something when he was in the end zone or something was going on. But I think in order to get the number one seed, I think the Bills have got to play their best game, and I think they will. There's a lot of rivalry going on between these teams in the past, but I like the Bills and I like their fans, so I'm going with them for about 4 or 5.
Okay. I think that's a good call. Mike, what do you got?
Yeah, it's an interesting game because the when I watched the Eagles against the Commanders last week, that first quarter I was starting to think, did they not practice this week? Because a guy catches the ball on the line going into the end zone, and he's looking down to see if he's standing in the right spot, and then the kicker, for whatever reason, seemed to think that if he kicked it far enough right or left, that it would go in, and he missed the first three. So, but anyways, the Eagles started to come back and really started to show their dominance. The Bills have been good for the last 4 or 5 games, and a lot of Josh Allen has dragged the team on his shoulders. So I don't know. That's going to be a real tight one. I'm thinking. The Eagles have already clinched their division. I'm not sure that they can. I don't think they can get to the top for the conference. The Bills are hoping to win, obviously, because between them and the Pats, but the Pats are playing the Jets.
Yeah.
So
Well done.
I'm not sure that the Bills are going to make it. So I would go with the Eagles by maybe 4.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Interesting game for me because I'm in my fantasy league. I'm in the championship game, and I've got Saquon Barkley as my running back on Philadelphia, and I've got James Cook as my running back for Buffalo. So I'm hoping they keep the ball on the ground and just run each other into the ground because I need the points.
Okay.
But I think Buffalo's going to take that one. I just
Yeah.
I was down in Florida. We were playing golf, and it was 2 weeks ago. We were playing the Pats. Buffalo's playing the Pats. They're up 24-3.5. So I said to one of my playing partners, I said, well, it looks like Buffalo really met its Waterloo. He said, no, I said, Josh will put on his cape in the second half,
Yeah,
and they're going to win
yeah,
that. They did.
Yeah.
So you never count that team out.
yeah.
No.
They just seem to find a way to win. I do not think they'll win the division, though. I think they'll be a wild card team,
Yeah,
and
Yeah.
a very tough one to deal with in the playoffs.
yeah. I like that.
Uh,
Yeah.
Chicago, San Francisco. Chicago's miracle win last week. The onside kick, the good defense they played.
Yeah.
San Francisco, who seemed to be on a roll. Who have you got, Karen?
Well, they're playing in San Francisco. I like that for the 49ers. They played really well last night against the Colts. I know that George Kittle had come off, and that's going to be a loss for them.
Yeah.
But both of these teams should make the playoffs. I think I favor Purdy over Caleb Williams, to be honest. So I'm going with 49ers by about 3 or 4.
I think it's a good call. Mike?
Yeah, I would go with the 49ers. They for a while there they were really struggling, but they again the last 4 or 5 games they've really come along. They've done it without Purdy for a long while. They've gone through their struggles. The Bears, it's their first sort of year finally getting out of the doldrums and starting to play well and being a contender. But the 49ers have been there for years, and I think they'll take it by 5. So,
Yeah, 49ers by 5. I think that's a good
yeah.
call. San Francisco needs to win. Caleb, he seems to play great when they need that big throw or big play, but during the game, it's so frustrating watching him throw the ball away time and time again because he's under pressure or he can't find anybody. And but boy, when they need him, he makes the big throw.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Just a couple of things before we go. I love looking at ticket prices. If you're in Cincinnati today, you could watch that game for $10, $10. But if you're in Buffalo, it's going to cost you $325 to sit in minus whatever weather. Or
Yeah.
if you want to sit at in San Francisco's stadium, it's going to cost you $347 to watch that game. So interesting dynamic between the lowest and the highest. So I
Yes.
always like watching, seeing where the dynamic ticket prices go.
Yep.
Yeah. So that's very good. Thank you very much for Karen for coming on and giving us your picks this week. Mike,
Yeah, John, if you don't mind, I just
go
like
over
to.
the schedule when we have
Yeah.
picks in and so on and so forth.
Yeah, absolutely. And week 17, especially for a lot of the newer people, but originally they had 3 games on Thursday, they had 7 games on Sunday, and 6 games on Monday. When I had the initial schedule set up, and then I was checking it last night because I said, they move things around, and sure enough, they did. And as we know now, we've got 3 games still on Thursday, we've got 2 games on Saturday, 10 on Sunday, and 1 on Monday. So for Thursday and Saturday, have your picks in by the first kickoff for that day's games. For the Sunday, obviously, everything for Sunday and Monday needs to be in before the first before the first kickoff that day. But a lot of good games going on. And normally, what I do as we're getting into week 17 and 18, is to give. On Sunday morning, I will send out the how everybody the overall standings are in terms of the top 6 or 7 people that have a chance, and then once we get through Sunday, I'll give everybody the update on that again, and then when we do this on Tuesday next week, we'll have a chance to find out who's still running strong.
Yeah, yeah. And don't forget, everybody, after next week, the week 18, the final week of the season, Mike has you're doing a playoff pool this year.
Absolutely,
So
yeah,
go over
and
the
for
that.
everybody, that's the entry fee is only $10 per person, so cheap like borscht. And the only real difference in terms of the picking is that if you pick the team that wins, you get 2 points off instead of the one that we do in the regular season. But it's always interesting because you've got teams that are on the bubble, and you're trying to go, okay, is this they going to win this week, and you can do well, or you can get beat up. So yeah, and then teams disappear.
It's interesting. Kansas City not in the playoffs this year for the first time in several
Oh,
years, Karen.
Yeah.
And Philadelphia may not go to the Super Bowl, so it's going to be interesting to see who's going to end up there. Seattle, the
Well,
Rams, the
yeah,
49ers.
Broncos, the
West.
Pats,
exactly.
they both have been out of it for a while, and now they're new to it and doing well. So yeah, it's going to be a fun time, a fun playoff.
And in the
Well,
AFC, you've got Jacksonville is hotter
yeah.
than pistols right now, and
Yeah,
boy, it's going to be fun to watch.
Well, just so you know, as of today or yesterday, making the playoffs, the NFC playoff picture is Seahawks, Bears, Eagles, Rams, and the 49ers. For the AFC playoff picture, Broncos, Patriots, Jaguars, Bills, Chargers, and the Texans.
Yeah,
So I
yeah.
don't know if that's going to help you
And
guys.
New England's going to be there.
Yeah,
Buffalo's going to be there. It's going to be a great playoff season. Well, thank you
yeah,
very
absolutely.
much, everybody. I want to wish you all a Merry Christmas. Get
yeah.
a rest this week. Make your picks early, guys. Get them in. Keep an eye out in that Baltimore game. That could be
Yeah.
pivotal in terms of points to make sure you know who's on the injured list. And until next week, everybody, have a Merry Christmas and get a restful holiday. Thank you very much.
Merry
Absolutely.
Christmas, John and
Merry,
Mike, and to all
yep,
you cool guys.
yes, everybody, yep.
Yeah.